Guys, today's video is on angles, reference angles, and also coterminal angles. Let's go over some vocab on how to graph an angle. So when you have an angle like this, it starts with one side and it ends at a certain quadrant and it ends at another side, basically two rays together. The first ray that we start with is always on the x-axis at 0. That's called the initial side. The other ray, where it ends over here, that's called the terminal side. If you're going counterclockwise like this, around to the left, you're going to get a positive angle measure. Whereas if we go the other way and we get an angle that goes like this, that's going to give you a negative angle measure. And like we know from before, a full revolution around gives you 360 degrees, or you can say in terms of radians, 2 pi. Graph some angles. So number 1, 75 degrees starts right here at the initial side. It's a little less than 90, so we're going to estimate it to be the initial the terminal side right there. Negative 160 again starts right here, but since we're going negative, we're going to go in the other direction. It's more than 90, it's a little less than 180. So each quadrant makes 90 degrees, so it's 90 and then 180. So 160 goes this way and ends right there. 430, this is a little different because it's bigger than 360, so it's positive. So we're gonna go this way, and a full revolution around is 360. So we went 360 around, we went all the way around. So now how much we have left to get to 430? We have 70 degrees more, because 360 plus 70 makes your 430. All you have to do is now kind of guess where 70 is, a little less than 90 again, right here. So that is your angle. We went around 360 and just 70. The way you show that using an arrow, you can say that you're, I'm using my eraser, hold on. The way you show that using an arrow is that it went around and then ended right here. So sometimes you might see that arrow. That just means it went around the 360 plus another little 70. So coterminal angles have the same starting point and the same ending point. Some of them might travel a longer distance, but they end at the same spot. Example is shown at the left here. 90 degrees, or pi over 2, travels from the x-axis up to the y-axis right here, 90 degrees. But negative 270, or negative 3 pi over 2, the same thing, travels in the opposite direction, 90, 180, up to 270. So both angles end right here. They are coterminal angles. Look at number 10. So 65 degrees, think about what that is. If on your coordinate plane, we're graphing 65, that's about right here. 65. A coterminal angle, if we go the opposite direction, so starting here but going this way, how much would that be to get to that same spot? Basically, all you need to do is take 360, and we're going the opposite direction, so subtract 65. That's going to be 295. Since we're going clockwise, coterminal angle is negative 295. Another coterminal angle for 65 degrees, what if we go in the positive direction past 65 and then go to 65 again? We have to do 360 around and then go another 65 to equal 425 degrees. Okay, Write down what questions you have on coterminal angles. A big suggestion that I have with, if we have radians here, convert the radians to degrees first. For right now, since you're struggling, you're just introing to radians and degrees, convert it to degrees first, and then it's easier to find coterminal angles. Reference angles is when we take any angle, and for example, this angle here starts on the x-axis and goes into quadrant 2. Reference angles are the same angle, but we're making it in the first quadrant. So all of our answers for reference angles are going to be between 0 and 90. In our example on the left, let's say this theta, let's say that angle is about 120. The reference angle is how much more do you need to add in order to make it on the x-axis here. So we have 120. In order to make it on the x-axis, you have to get to 180. So we have to add 60. So the reference angle for this angle is 60. Let's look at number 14. 225 starts. They all start on the x-axis. We go around to 180. How much more past 180 do we have to make? We have to make 45 more to get to 225. So it's right there. That's my angle going from the x-axis to 225. The reference angle is the distance from the terminal side right here to the x-axis. So how much is in this blue space? 45 degrees. And you know that is because this is 180 from here to here, and you need an extra 45 to reach 225. This is 180. Need an extra 45 in this space right here to get to 225. You can also go in the opposite direction. Let's do one more example for this video. Here is negative 310. We're going to start here and go in the opposite direction, 310. So that's 180. How much more do we need? Well, if you keep going another quadrant, that's another 90. Okay, so we got 180, we're at 90. So right now, at this point, we're at negative 270. You need an extra 40 more, and we got to our angle. So this was 90, this was another 90, this was another 90, so we're at 270, and an extra 40 more makes our degree of the negative 310, because we went the opposite direction. In order to find the reference angle, how much space is in between the terminal side, the ending side, and the x-axis? How much blue do we have here? Well, if we know that there's 40 in this spot, and this makes a right angle, 90 minus 40 makes 50-degree reference angle. Write down what questions you have on reference angles and coterminal angles, and we can go over it next time in class. Have a great night.